Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video I'm going to be sort of showing my collection of cassette tapes. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So first up is the debut EP by the Black and Death metal band Burial Curse. This is a newer band. I think they were formed like not last year, maybe the year before that. I can't seem to find a date of release on here. Yeah, they're a really awesome black and death metal band. They're kind of similar to another one, Nocturnal Blood. Similar production, similar vocals, similar instrumentation, all that. So yeah, if you like Nocturnal Blood, this is also another great band to check out. So far, unfortunately, this is their only release. Hopefully they release more stuff, but yeah. Alright, next up is a live recording, and that's Death Live 1984. Although technically it should be called Mantis Live 1984, considering this is during the Mantis era before Chuck changed the name of the band to Death. Yeah, pretty rare recording, honestly. A pretty rare recording. Honestly, I had a really difficult time trying to find this one. But thankfully I did. And it's on this clear cassette with the plain black sides of it. Also, for some reason, the track listing is upside down. Yeah, one of their earliest live recordings, not the very first Mantis live recording. This is actually from, this actually has two different names. Of course, this name right here, Death Live 1984, but, it's also called Live Tape 2, Death Live Tape 2, because technically it's the second live Mantis recording, but they called it Death Live Tape 2 instead of Mantis Live Tape 2. This is recorded, of course, back when the band was Mantis, but not released until a little after the band changed their name. This still has the classic Mantis lineup of Chuck Schuldiner, Rick Ross, and Cam Lee. So the iconic Death lineup wasn't established yet. Yeah, it has some iconic Mantis songs, such as the title track of the band Mantis, the Mantis version of Evil Dead, a Legion of Doom, Zombie, and Death by Metal, but it also has some very early versions of Death songs, such as Beyond the Unholy Grave. Let's see. Corpse Grinder technically was originally a Death song before Cam Lee made it into a Massacre song. And then you get some interesting tracks here. Reign of Terror, which was the title track of their, I think their second demo. Power of Darkness, another Mantis song. You get a Venom cover of the Venom song Poison. And then another great early Death song called Witch of Hell, and then Slaughterhouse. So yeah, a really great live recording. Definitely track this down if you can. It's probably my favorite Mantis recording in terms of live stuff. Either that or the first one. I don't know. I can't decide between the two. But both Mantis recordings. The first one is called Mantis Live Tape 1, and then of course it's called Death Live Tape 2, but should have been called Mantis Live Tape 2. But yeah, great stuff here. Next up is another early Death release. This is their Reign of Terror demo. This one actually has a misprint in the track listing. At least the copy that I have. This says it's the track listing to the live recording that I just showed you guys. But the second side is actually their Back from the Dead demo. So there were actually there were a couple different versions of this demo. There was the original standard version. There was that came out in I think '85. There was the second version, which had I believe a bonus track, which was a recording of an interview. And then there was another one which didn't have a recording of an interview, but did have a couple of bonus tracks. I believe that was a re-release from '86. And then I think this is the second re-release from '86. With the Back from the Dead demo as the second side. Although again, this is a misprint. That is the wrong second side track listing. Yeah. Also interesting is that because of the way whoever wrote this, maybe Chuck himself, maybe one of the other band members, because of the gigantic handwriting, there was not enough room to write Death Reign of Terror on one side and then the other stuff on the other side. So it's Death on this side, then Reign of Terror on this side, but Reign of Terror is just side A, and then Back from the Dead demo is side B. But yeah, that confused me at first, but it's just that the lettering is so big they had to put one on one side, one on the other. But yeah, really cool demo, and then the Back from the Dead demo is also really cool. I'll say the Back from the Dead demo I think is maybe even better than the Reign of Terror demo, but the Reign of Terror demo itself is also pretty good. I'd say it also has my it has probably my favorite version of the song Corpse Grinder. It's just a lot more chaotic and frenzied and just vicious sounding than even any of the other versions. Even more so than the Massacre version, actually. But I still love all versions of the song. But the Reign of Terror demo version is probably my favorite. And then you get similar songs from this time, other songs from this time period, such as Summon to Die, Zombie, Witch of Hell, Reign of Terror, and Slaughterhouse. All right. Next up is the demo called Old School Metal Onslaught by the Paraguayan thrash metal band The Force. I haven't seen a lot of bands from Paraguay in terms of like thrash, not just thrash metal, but metal in general. Usually you see if someone talks about like a metal band from South America, usually they're from Brazil. But yeah, pretty interesting sort of old school style thrash metal. This is a newer band, but they originally played old school style thrash metal. Originally, starting with this demo and continuing on with their first full length album called Possessed by Metal. Unfortunately, they would trend hop and go on to do the more modern style of thrash metal, with the really bad overproduced style of production, really slick clean. The songs would be kind of generic and just basically standard, typical modern era thrash metal kind of thing going on. But back originally when they first started, again with this demo and their first full length album, they played this real awesome sort of old school style thrash metal that is just absolutely fantastic. This is their debut demo. I don't know if I said that already. I've been rambling, but side A is their demo, and then side B is actually a live recording. So you get a whole second side worth of bonus tracks. Yeah. Also, Thrash Till We Die, the opening track is probably the best thing they ever recorded. I mean, it is just absolutely fantastic. I would consider it their anthem because it feels like, it feels like one of the songs or the song from them that whoever knows this band automatically thinks, oh, this song equals this band, that kind of thing. You know how, like, for example, Iron Maiden, the song Iron Maiden is instantly recognized, Iron Maiden. Basically, pretty much every metal band has their anthem song, and I think Thrash Till We Die is probably their anthem song. But yeah, and then you get clear cassette with the sticker on it. Also, I really love the the style of logo here, really cool. Very like it's like a thick kind of thing, but it also looks very sharp as well. Love that. Really cool, unique sort of font. Ooh, shit! I almost dropped that. Yikes. All right. Here we go. Next up is the demo Demolition by the thrash metal band Lethal. Lethal is another modern thrash metal band that sort of started with like old school death metal, not old school death metal, old school thrash metal, that kind of style, and then sort of very quickly abandoned it to the more modern thrash metal style. Yeah, their debut demo was absolutely fantastic. This actually is an original. This isn't a re-release. I don't think they ever re-released this demo for some reason. This was released, I think, in 2000 or 2001. This is copy number 55 out of 202. It looks like it was a collaboration of two different record companies, Steel Fire Invasion and Final Punishment Records. And it's just this blank standard dubbing cassette. And then you do get a bunch of inner stuff there of the lyrics, and then, a picture of the band members, as well as the lyrics. There's lyrics in here as well to all songs. But yeah, really great. It's just a fantastic demo. I really wish they would have kept with the style and didn't change it. Yeah. All right. Next up is the debut demo from Mayhem, Pure Fucking Armageddon. Oh, technically it is, because there was one other demo before this called it was called Checker Patrol, but that was sort of a one-off side project that they did for fun. It wasn't technically, yes, I guess it was the first demo they ever recorded, but again, it was sort of a side project, sort of just for fun type of thing that they did at one point. This is officially their first demo. Yeah, probably their most underrated release. Here's the thing. There's two different sides here. There's the group of people that never even knew this existed, and then there's the people that just bash it just because the production isn't super clear, which is typical for black metal, honestly. I don't know why people complain. It is black metal production, one of the most black metal productions. It's not super it's not like white noise kind of production where you can't hear anything at all. You could clearly hear the instruments. The only thing that's sort of muffled is the vocals. The vocals are pretty muffled. But the instrumentation is actually pretty audible, so I don't know why people are complaining about it. Actually, oddly enough, the very first version of this that was released was actually purely instrumental, and apparently Mayhem was originally supposed to be just a purely instrumental type band. There wasn't supposed to be vocals, and then when they released the original version of this, people complained about not having any vocals on it. So then they quickly recorded vocals and re-released it with this. This is the second version that was sent out to the public. Compared to the first version, which I think was just a private release that was only for promotional material. And even though they had vocals, they're oh, we fixed it, right? Then people complained that they couldn't hear the vocals. So no one was happy, I guess. But yeah, I absolutely love this demo. And it has probably one of the most underrated and sort of forgotten about Mayhem songs, the song Ghoul. Absolutely fantastic song, along with most of the songs on here, actually, except for maybe the shitty version of the shitty cover version of the Venom song Black Metal. But everything else on here is fantastic. Also, I love that instead of saying side 1, technically it says side 1 and side 2, but on the sides there, but on the top it says fuck off. So side fuck and side off. That's awesome. Um, but yeah, just an absolutely fantastic demo that's super underrated, and for the people who do know about it, for them, they hate it. But I say it's simultaneously underrated and overhated. But yeah. All right, next up is the Mayhem demo, Freezing Moon / Carnage. Although at one point it was known as Studio Tapes for some reason, and they changed the name of it. But yeah, there's not a lot of these around. This is one of the original cassette versions. I don't remember how many. It was like a limited number run originally when it was released in 1990. But there may have been like maybe 20 copies or something. It was very, very, very limited run. It was just basically just a promo version of a demo. But unlike the original version of the original promo version of Pure Fucking Armageddon, I think this was released to the public, but again, it was very, very few number of copies that were made. But yeah, there it is, the Mayhem promo 90, and then there is actually bonus tracks in the back here. This is the a couple of songs from Live in Leipzig. So I think this was this released after the original version of Live in Leipzig, because the more well known version was released in '93, but there was a Mayhem fan club version that was released the same year that this was. But but yeah. All right. Next up is the demo "Thy Deadly Illusion" by the one-man thrash metal band Iron Warrior from Canada. Unfortunately, this was a very short-lived band. Originally, it was a multi-person band. I don't know how many members originally had, but at one point between the years of 1987 and 1988, most of the members left and left just one person, Dana Lee, and he basically did everything on here. He did drums, guitar, bass, vocals. I think he even was involved with the production actually. But yeah, it's a really underrated demo, and unfortunately, there was nothing after this. I don't know what happened. There's not really that much information about this band. And nothing came out after this, and this demo was never re-released, unfortunately, so it's extremely hard to find. But it's this really cool, very unique sort of blend of like thrash metal and doom metal. Someone's car's going off. Anyway, distractions aside, but yeah, just a very unique style of thrash metal that I haven't heard. I haven't heard a lot of, but it doesn't have this. None of the songs have guitar solos, but the songs really shine in terms of the vocals, the riffs, and the overall just menacing production. But yeah, it's sort of a more of like it relies a lot on like more of a overall production / overall atmosphere and the riffs. The riffs are probably the main driving force of this demo. But yeah, it's absolutely awesome. So if you guys want, if there's any of you out there who want to hear some really cool, unique style of like thrash doom kind of thing, definitely track this demo down. It's by far one of the best thrash metal demos I've ever heard. Almost put that in the wrong pile. Oh, actually. Sorry, I almost dropped one of these, so I'm trying to be very careful. I picked one of them up accidentally by the actual like hinge piece, and I almost dropped it. So I'm trying to not pick them up by the hinge piece. I'm trying to pick them up by the side here. So anyway, next up is the original 1988 release of Ripping Evil. Sorry, I had a mind blank there, but yeah, the original release of Ripping Evil by Satanas. Um, Really underrated black and death metal band. These guys are still active, but honestly haven't released many good stuff. I'd say this demo and then their most recent full-length album are probably the only good releases by them. A lot of the stuff in between is just very generic sounding. But yeah, this is definitely the best thing they released. Um, and it's just this really cool sort of like old school black and death metal type sort of style here, with an absolutely fantastic vocalist with Michael Smith, who eventually would later appear on the debut demo of the another black and death metal band, Echaron. I don't remember the name of the demo from that band, but he didn't do anything else after that, unfortunately. But he's a very underrated vocalist in my opinion. His vocals are just some of the most just like not ghoulish, but like very like weird and just very sort of like evil and like just they have a really cool sort of sound to them. They're very sort of a gravelly, raspy sort of sound to them. Yeah, they fit the music really, really well on here, and there's absolutely fantastic riffs and solos and stuff. Just a really cool, evil sounding demo. All right. Next up is the demo of Doom by Savage Thrust. Another very underrated band. This is a thrash metal band. Thrash metal / speed metal originally, and then they were more just sort of thrash metal later on. They were more of a thrash metal, heavy metal band later on, but this is more of a thrash metal / speed metal sort of demo. They did re-release their first album as well as their demo, but it was like a compilation CD. It wasn't. They didn't ever release this and the other thing individually. And then their first full-length album is pretty bad, but this demo is absolutely fantastic. It's one of those. Savage Thrust is one of those bands that started out fantastic originally, and then just sort of never really shined after that. Yeah, sure, they had quite a few releases after, mostly demos, except for that one full-length album, but nothing that sort of is anything worth listening to, unfortunately. But yeah, their debut demo of Doom is absolutely fantastic. It has these really just absolutely just like perfect sort of mixture again of heavy metal, old school heavy metal, and old school speed metal. That just works so well, and then the vocals are great as well. The cassette is this plain white cassette with the Savage Thrust logo as a sticker there, and then you get the inside there. All right. Next up is I think this is I don't know. Yeah, okay. So this is a bootleg, but it's the only way to get this audio, and that is the rehearsal demo of Show No Mercy. There were rehearsal and / demo recordings of the Show No Mercy album before the actual album was recorded. Unfortunately, those recordings were never officially released, so the only way to get those is through this bootleg. But honestly, it sounds fantastic. It's like not like a really badly made bootleg. Actually, I think it was like actually official. Like it was an official bootleg, released through the Slayer fan club. Yeah. Most of the songs on here are just the standard Show No Mercy track listing, except for where is it? Except for Aggressive Perfector, which only appeared on a re-released version of the I think mind blank again. A re-released version of the what is wrong with me today? Sorry. Yeah, it was on their EP as well as on the Live Undead live album. I'm gonna think of it at some point and then just be like, oh yeah, that's it. But sorry, I'm kind of tired right now. I didn't sleep well last night. But but yeah, Aggressive Perfector. I think it's judging by it being on the Show No Mercy rehearsal recordings. It almost seems like it was supposed to be on Show No Mercy, but they cut it at the last minute, maybe due to it not just fitting on the album or something like that. Haunting the Chapel. That's it. Haunting the Chapel. I don't know why I couldn't think of the name of that EP. Haunting the Chapel. That's it. It was on a re-released version of Haunting the. Actually, it was on every re-release of Haunting the Chapel. It just wasn't on the original version. Anyway, but yeah, just awesome demo. Even though it's a bootleg, it's still fantastic. And second to last one. I almost forgot one of them. But second to last is the demo, Sodmythic Temple by the black and death metal band Witchcraft. Another very cool black and death metal band that again it's very similar to Nocturnal Blood and Burial Curse, although this band does have a little bit more of a doomy sound to it than the other ones. The other ones are pretty much just straightforward black and death metal. This one is black and death metal, but again, it has more of a doomy sort of overall sort of like style to it. It's a bit more it's a slightly slower paced one, and it has it's not more of a doomy atmosphere to it. This band is newer. I think they started back in maybe 2010, maybe I'm wrong about that. But this band has never released, even though they're still active to this day, and they've been active for a few years now, they've never released a full-length album. They've never released an EP. They've never released a single. They've released, get this, 10 demos. Yes, 10 demos. This is I think their second most recent one. It's absolutely fantastic. This is a re-release actually. Their original version had a slightly different cover. It's the same artwork, but like the artwork, it's a little bit. That one's a little bit. It doesn't have I don't think it has the black border on the top here, right here. Around the logo. Also, it has a different inside too. Like the inside has a completely different thing. But yeah, this is the first re-released version, but it's still fantastic. And then finally, I actually just recently got this. Finally is the demo ... but good by the thrash metal band Brain Amputated. Excuse me. But yeah, really underrated German thrash metal band. They started off with this demo as sort of like thrash metal with maybe a little bit of speed metal element, not quite so much, but just a little bit. But otherwise, they're mainly just straightforward thrash metal. Yeah, and then they released their first album this was released in '89. They released their first full-length album in '91, I believe. That one has a little bit more melody to it. It was still the straightforward thrash metal, but they added a little bit of melody to it. And it wasn't as heavy as this demo. It was a little bit lighter of a sound. And then the band renamed themselves around the mid-90s to Kick-Ass, and then released one more album, and then split up right after that. And that album was released in '97, and they split up soon after that. But yeah, their Kick-Ass album, not too good. Their first full-length album, pretty decent, but I'd say the best thing they released is definitely this demo. It's definitely the heaviest, the more straightforward, thrashy kind of thing, and yeah, it's fantastic. I'm definitely going to do a review of this sometime soon, probably within Probably within the next couple of days to the next week, depending when I could get down to reviewing it. I have a lot of stuff, a lot of other things to do, and schedules and stuff. Yeah. Also, I love the on here. They label themselves as sorry, this is a mouthful, but get this. They label their sound as, and I quote, heavy hardcore power punk ultra metal mega thrash. Yeah. So that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.